Huge day on today's DNVR Broncos podcast. We're talking about a massive deal for Nik Bonitto. We're talking about the captains that have been announced. Did Jeffery Simmons take a shot at Bo Nix? You bet he did. We're going to talk about that and Sean Payton having his back. We're giving our Titans keys to victory for the Broncos over the Titans. We're giving our game picks, and we're having a very special guest, Jordan Palmer, on. It's a massive show, and it starts now. Nik Bonitto at $26.5 million? Holy F, in the words of George Payton. The Broncos locked up Nik Bonitto on what I think is a huge win-win deal for both sides. We're going to break it down live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores, and presented by our friends over at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Place a $5 bet, deposit $10, and you're going to get $300 in bonus bets. That's right, they upped the ante to $300. What a way to celebrate the NFL being back today, and Nik Bonitto being back for at least the next 5 years, baby.
I love this. I love it for so many reasons. The first one is I love getting it done before the season. Now the Broncos got almost all of their in the balance deals done before the season, and they definitely got the most important ones done before the season. And now you just get to tell the team no BS. Now the only focus is winning. No one has any excuse to be distracted from anything except going out there and winning games. So I love that. I love this deal for the Broncos. I love this deal for Nik Bonitto. And I just love more than anything that this front office is now doing things the right way. Zach, you and I on this show complained for years about the Broncos waiting till the last minute to get deals done with players over and over and over again. And we just kept on pounding the table about the fact that all that happens is it gets more expensive. No one's deal ever gets cheaper, especially for players that you believe in and that are good players who are going to go out there and perform, who are these guys you want to give 5-year deals to in the first place. All that happens is it gets more expensive because more guys sign deals, the market goes up, and I'm so happy that this front office is now doing it the other way, taking care of these deals and betting on their guys. You know, we talk so much about bet on yourself. Well, for football front offices, it's bet on your guys. You drafted this guy. You developed this guy. You were the front row seat to watch him go out and have the breakout season that he did last year. So bet on him. There's no better person to bet on than a type of guy like that. So yeah, are the Broncos taking a slight gamble here? I think so. But it's a very well calculated gamble with a lot higher upside than low side.
And Ryan, I completely see why you're saying maybe it's a little bit of a gamble. And if you want Henry and I's deeper thoughts on this, make sure to watch the emergency pod that we did earlier today, where we went very in depth on this. But I actually, guys, taking a step back, I think there's no gamble by the Broncos on this. And the reason is because we haven't just seen great play from Nik Bonitto for one season. We've seen it from two. His second year in the NFL after having a very disappointing, underwhelming first season is how you could put it. He had 8 sacks his second season. Last year, 13.5 sacks. Let's just say Nik Bonitto, I think he's going to continue to trend like this. But let's say he's somewhere in between that 13.5 and 8 sack. That's what $26.5 million is in today's NFL edge market. 10 sacks, that's what that gets you. He's the 10th highest edge rusher in the NFL. If he's at 10 sacks, boom, he's right on par with where that money is. And I don't think he's going to take a step back. He's certainly not going to take a step back below the 8 sacks that he had 2 years ago. So I just think that this is there's no risk in this because of how good of a deal it is at that $26.5 million mark.
I think we're splitting hairs about whether or not it's risk or not, and I don't even think it really matters.
Yes.
In the end, counting on sacks to be the barometer of whether or not this is a good deal, I think is actually not the right way to go about it anyway. Now, if Nik Bonitto goes out and gets 17 sacks this year or something like that, then of course we're going to look back and say, well, the Broncos got an absolute steal. But he could go out and get 8 but be completely disruptive, game in, game out, do his job in the running game. And if that all happens, then you don't have to come back and say, oh, the Broncos overpaid. Now, someone will, but there's a lot more nuance to it than that. Sacks are, of course, going to be what makes or breaks, a Hall of Fame level career or not, and things of that nature. But to me, this just relies on Nik being healthy and going out there and being a great football player, which he's already displayed that he's going to do. So that's where I agree with you, Zach, on the risk. The reason why it would be considered a risk, I think, nationwide, is just because you're betting on the upside of the best season that he's had so far. I've always said under 10 sacks, each sack's worth $1 million. Over 10 sacks, each sack's worth $2 million. Well, $2 million a sack gets him exactly where he got. So to me, that's where it's like, okay, there's a little bit of risk here because you're paying him for that season from a sacks perspective.
Yeah, and it's in the way that, every investment's a risk. You buy your whatever stock, your whatever bond or whatever, every contract you give out has some level of that. But again, it just doesn't. It's splitting hairs. To me, we talked about it a bit this morning, but the way that Russell Wilson came in here and just forced them to tear everything down, that was a good thing for them. Being from Montana, we talk a lot about forests and forest fires. In a forest, you want to fire about every 100 years because there are a lot of good things that come from that. There's the lodgepole pine, for example. The seeds don't open up so that you can grow more trees unless there's a fire. So it's it's natural. Russell Wilson was a massive, massive fire that forced them to move on from Jerry Jeudy and Justin Simmons and not spend in free agency. And you wind up with just this void. And they've just been able to grow these stars and give them opportunities and pay them. And, you guys have been talking about forever after the Super Bowl. At some point, maybe you just need to tear everything down so that you can build back up. And with Russell Wilson here, that wasn't the goal, but it's kind of what happened. And as you see them, this is the last year they have that dead cap hit. And there's room for more of these deals. And there's room for JFM if he has a great year to come back. There's room for Luke Wattenberg. Or whoever else may be up next. And it's just a very nice, healthy place for this whole Broncos ecosystem to be.
And speaking of nice and healthy, that's exactly how these massive deals have gone with the Broncos. It's been incredibly healthy. The Broncos have done 7 massive deals with their own players in the last 14 months. You go back to last year, you had Quinn Miners come out of nowhere. He gets a massive deal. Pat Surtain, Jonathan Cooper in the season, DJ Jones right before free agency starts. And of course, in this past month, you get Nik Bonitto, you get Cortland Sutton, and you get Zach Allen. The Broncos, from top down, it's been exactly 100% what you want from an organization. The ownership group has dished out nearly $500 million. Yes, we're talking billions now. $500 million in contracts. One, that means they have the money. They can throw it in escrow, drink if you want to with that one. And then on top of that, you are drafting and developing, and you are doing that perfectly. That is how you get long-term success. And then you come in and you get the Dre Greenlaws of the world. You get the Talanoa Hufungas. You get those final pieces, the Aqib Talibs, the DeMarcus Wares, to just finish those final holes to then go win you a Super Bowl. And the coaches are developing these guys, and then they're paying them with zero drama at all. It's exactly how you want an organization to be from top to bottom.
Did you guys ever play Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Of course.
Did you?
No.
Okay. Well, basically the
Love that game.
Object of the game is you're trying to build this epic theme park.
Yeah.
And if you tend to one thing too much and you don't tend to another thing, then the hot dog stand is in trouble because there's not enough staff there, and so
you're just trying to sling balloons all day, but people want the hot dogs.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. So you have to kind of go around to all of the areas of the theme park to make sure that you can have the best theme park and make the most money, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like the Broncos ownership is doing an incredible job of playing sports team tycoon right now. The fans are happy. They've been pressing the right buttons there. The players are happy. The coaches are happy. The stadium is improved. The food is improved in the stadium. I mean, they just keep doing all the right things. The game day experience is getting better. They're just perfectly spreading out their dollars around this team to beat the game in sports team tycoon. So the most important one to me are the players happy, and the players are really happy, and that's great. And really quick, I wanted to go back to the Russell Wilson. I found it interesting that you brought him up because I was thinking about him today, but for a completely different reason. How important was it to hit on the Nik Bonitto pick? Because that was the first pick you had after trading away your picks for Russell Wilson.
Totally.
And you essentially ended up getting first round pick player.
Yep.
All the way at 64 has become notable from that George Payton meme. But like, had you gotten a bust there, had you missed on that pick, now it's like you gave up a whole year essentially of being able to get players for another player who wasn't even good, and you put yourself into a bigger hole. Like being able to hit on Nik Bonitto and land a first round caliber player in there actually really helped soften the blow from the Russell Wilson
100%. And this speaks exactly to who George Payton is. He is an executive of the year. The Broncos have an elite general manager, and he has proven that since he could have easily been fired, and everyone would have understood that. Since then, he has been an elite general manager. And you guys talk about how important it is to keep players happy, and this deal comes today at the same time that when we're on air, the complete opposite is happening with the Las Vegas Raiders. Amari Cooper signed with the Raiders 10 days ago. He has retired.
Yeah.
He went into that Raiders building and said, I've had enough. I'm out of here. Done with my career. Don't even want your money. I'm going to retire. Just two things couldn't be more different in the Broncos world compared with the Raiders world right now. And the Twitter chat's done a good job pointing that out.
Yeah, and I had kind of wondered if Amari Cooper is the best receiver in the AFC West. Like it's him or Lad McConkey. And, you know, he had a bit
Cortland Sutton.
Lad McConkey had like 1,200 yards. Is there, like, there's just a difference. It was a down year for Amari Cooper. He's only 31. I thought there was a chance that he would show up and lead the AFC in receiving yard, or AFC West in receiving yards, at least get close. And for him to go away, what happened with the Jacoby Myers trade request? Like they said
He
they
came
weren't
out yesterday and was like, I asked and they said no.
Yeah, I guess if Amari
There you
Cooper's
go.
gone, there's his touches. And
Okay.
like they've got that Dante Thornton guy who everybody likes, the rookie who's starting. But yeah, it's fun to laugh at him.
It is fun to laugh at the Raiders. We've got so much to get to on a packed show. Guys, captains were announced yesterday, and there's 8 of them. We got Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton, Quinn Miners on the offensive side. On the
You get a
defensive
C,
side,
and you get a C, and you get a C.
and
Yeah.
the defensive side, Pat Surtain is a captain.
And you get a C.
DJ Jones is
And
a
you
captain.
get a C.
And a new captain, Talanoa Hufanga.
And you get a C.
And then also Alex Singleton is
And
a
you
captain.
get a C.
And then on special teams, Will Lutz is a captain.
And you get a C. 3 of my guys are captains. How about you guys? I think it's 3 for you too.
Did
Henry.
Nate Adkins wasn't a captain?
No.
No. I was Court, Pat. I have so many my guys beyond just that list of 5. It's hard to.
People were mad about the my guys too. How'd you take Nate Adkins over Evan Ingram? Because I like Evan Ingram just as much as everybody else. I like Nate Adkins more than everybody else does.
He's your
my guy.
Yeah, if you're not watching the show, it's hard to understand the concept, I think.
Can't blame them for not understanding.
Yes. Anyways, I think it was 3 of my guys, 3 of Henry's guys, 2 of your guys.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
And none of us had DJ Jones as one of our guy, which apparently he's everyone's guy.
Yep.
He is. Yeah, that was the most fun, I think. Getting to go around the locker room, and because I think that was the one that most people were surprised by, was DJ Jones being named captain. Like Zach Allen wasn't a captain. He was an all-pro defensive lineman. JFM was a louder guy. Nik Bonitto, all-pro himself. So there were a bunch of guys. Garrett Bowles wasn't a captain. For DJ Jones to get was a bit of a surprise. And to talk to all of them about why DJ was a captain was interesting. Because everybody you talk to has something to say about how DJ helped them. Whether it's like Innie Uzurike, who's a few walkers away. Lavelle Bailey knows Eric Armstead, who was like the vet for DJ Jones in San Francisco. And for that connection to be there, that meant that Lavelle has learned a lot from DJ Jones. And it's just across the board from everybody. I didn't realize that people respected him the way that they did. Not that there'd be any reason not to, but just to hear everybody say it and to say like, yeah, he was number 1 on my list. Interesting to me.
And you wrote all about it on the DNVR.com.
Go over to the website, because if that wasn't enough of an explanation, Innie Uzurike was running around telling everybody to vote for DJ.
And speaking of my guys,
Sick.
Congratulations to Nik Bonitto, my guy, on getting paid. Guys, one thing before we hit break really quick. The only unfortunate news of today, Dre Greenlaw. I think he's everyone's guy just with what he brings to the field, except he was not out on the practice field. Officially a DNP with that same quad injury, and who knows if it's the same one from the offseason. Broncos said it wasn't. Now there's scar tissue that's flared up. It's concerning because it kind of came out of nowhere. He was trending in the right direction, was supposed to be ready to go, and now he's a DNP on Wednesday. I'm officially concerned, not just for the Broncos don't need him to win this game on Sunday, but I'm just concerned long term. He's now been dealing with this injury since essentially the Broncos signed him in April, and it's in some form or the other. He's had a quad injury since then. I'm at the point where I'd be okay if they put him on IR and just said give him at least 4 weeks off, get healthy, because Dre, we need you for the end of the season. The Broncos need you for the end of the season, and it's not worth it to try to bring him back and then just get hurt again.
Yeah, we've been doing this long enough now that this almost feels like it never ends well.
Yeah.
And then, there's the rush back, and then you're not the same, and it's tough. I feel like I can't even remember a time where there was a guy who was kind of dealing with an injury all offseason, came back in week 1 or 2 and just looked like themselves for the rest of the season. So
Dulcich and Hamler and
the list goes on. Shane Ray,
right?
Devontae Booker,
Yep.
Jake Butt, it just goes on and on and on.
Yep.
And so whatever they got to do to try to get him back as healthy as possible, and hopefully we get Dre Greenlaw, my guy, out on the field at his best.
And we did ask Sean Payton about this, and as yesterday was technically the start of practices for the regular season, Sean Payton completely shut it down. He said, at this point forward, and I appreciate the question, at this point, I'm not going to talk one thing about players' injuries. We'll report what we're required to report, but you'll never hear me talk about how I feel it's going or any of that. Really, there's no advantage to me discussing it, so we won't get an update on Dre Greenlaw until Sean just goes out of his way in a couple of weeks to probably give us an update on Dre.
What's the over-under on how long it goes before someone asks about an injury player?
Well,
He'll
it went
be
about
asked tomorrow.
5. It was about 5 minutes yesterday.
Yep, and then
Yeah.
he got asked again, and he said, again, I'm not going to talk about any of the players relative to the injury respectfully. The question was, did something happen from Monday till now with Dre? And that's what he said. Got something way more fun to talk about. Dive into the Titans with some trash talk going on from Jeffery Simmons. Don't know what the heck he's doing. Let's dive into that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Ent Credit Union. This is a Broncos show, and you got to get yourself a Broncos checking account with our friends over at Ent Credit Union, because this one's for you, Broncos Country. They're the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos, and they've created a checking account built for Broncos fans. It's loaded with perks that get fans fired up, including this Broncos debit card. You can get a couple different ones. This one that we've got on the screen, Bo Nix signed debit card. It's a really cool looking one. They also have other ones with Broncos logos on it. You can get that, and your account is going to earn dividends as well. Plus, you're going to get 10% off food and gear on game days at Empower Field and Mile High. Plus that debit card, and every 15 swipes earns you a chance to get Broncos home game tickets just by swiping your card. So if you are ready to bank like a Bronco, go to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR and sign up for Broncos checking today. Ent Credit Member Union is insured by NCUA. Membership required. Annual percentage yield. Account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card.
And shout out to Game Time. My mom and some of her friends are coming to town for the Cowboys game. They're using our tickets for that, but that's the same weekend the Nuggets start their season against the Suns. So we're trying to go to that game. So I've just been logging into Game Time every day since that game's been announced. Wow. And I'd say since they had dropped the schedule, we're at like a 15% price reduction. But that's the stuff. It makes it so easy to see on Game Time. Just take a little screenshot, check back a couple days later. Yeah. We're buying 5 tickets.
It is called
it makes
Game
it tough.
Time, though, not like 2 months in advance.
True, exactly. That's why there's no pressure yet. There's no pressure yet. Next time I have to work, so we'll wait because 4 is a lot easier to buy than 5. But it's also NFL season. All of you guys watching this, go to NFL games. They're a lot of fun. Broncos tickets this weekend aren't as expensive as you'd think. Can get in for $130. It's a pretty good deal. All sorts of cool stuff with Game Time, zone deals, panoramic view from every seat, low price guarantee. Fees are included, so take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
I want to give a shout out to the Toyota Chat, to everyone that's tuning in. Give us a grade for how you feel about that Nik Bonitto deal in the Toyota Chat, or if you're tuning in later, down below. And want to give a shout out to Big Brothers Big Sisters, where your donations on this video this week are going to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Just click that donate button. When you do, make sure to let us know in the Twitter chat that you did so we can give you a shout out. We appreciate everyone that's tuning in on a massive show. Hit us with a thumbs up and donate to Big Brothers Big Sisters. And a shout out to Jeffery Simmons for making me even more pumped for this game because he is trash talking Bo Nix. Guys, listen to what Jeffery Simmons said and watch the way he says it. And the reporter, you'll hear the end of this question, but the reporter, a Titans reporter in their locker room this past Monday, essentially was hyping Bo Nix up in the question and then said, like, isn't it going to be a challenge for you? Watch Jeffery Simmons here.
I mean, the reason why he don't take a lot of sacks because he take off running with the football. I mean, you know, he don't get sacked a lot. You know, you give him the A and B gap. You know, if his first read not there, he taking off running. So that's the reason why he don't take many sacks because he's not just sitting in the pocket and trying to read coverage. You know, I would say we take that first read off, which I know our DBs, our linebackers, they're going to do a hell of a job on the back end, especially when it's time for them to throw the ball. We got to make sure, and that's what we talked about, being on the same plan. Same rush plans, being on the same page up front. We have to make sure that, you know, we don't give him no escape lanes because, like I said, that's the reason why he don't have many sacks. And
then he doubled down later. So just made it clear that he didn't misspeak.
We got to be able to keep Bo Nix in the well. Like I said, when his first read not there, he's going to try to take off running with the ball. So that's the way you quiet the noise. We got to be able to keep Bo Nix.
It's so disrespectful. In the modern day NFL, calling a quarterback a one read and run quarterback is so disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly was not afraid to say it. And the first time I watched it, I kind of thought like, oh, maybe he like accidentally let this slip, you know? But he definitely wanted to make it heard that the only reason why Bo Nix doesn't take sacks is because he only reads one route. And I just don't know what film he was watching because I think that was definitely true weeks 1 through 4. And so if I, you know, maybe as an NFL player, you're going to watch the whole season of Bo Nix, but then like a new episode of your favorite show drop, you only made it through the first 4 games, and then you just formed your opinion on Bo Nix, well, then I would have said that was an accurate opinion. I think Bo got a lot better at that as the season went on.
And I would tweak it to say he goes through 3 reads. He just has a tendency to go through them too quick. And so, like, that first read will come open, but he's already moved on to number 2. And by the time number 2 is open, he might be on to number 3. And that was kind of what happened in the playoff game. So, to me, it isn't he has one read and takes off. It's that he goes through all of his reads too fast and then takes off, which can have kind of a similar effect, but is a different thing that's happening.
Well, and that's the whole idea when you hear about people saying the game's slowing down for a player, you know, in their second year or just as they get used to it. Like, as the season went on, I felt like the game was slowing down for Bo Nix.
Yes.
He was starting to feel like he could go through his reads at a more normal progression. This year, you expect him to take an even further step along in that. But again, not an accident from Jeffery Simmons.
Oh, no, definitely not. He went on for over a minute talking about this. I guess it was clipped a little bit earlier. I'll take that one. But when the question was asked, again, it was like a toss-up, like Bo Nix is good. And he goes, well, and then he dives into that. So, I mean, he made it very clear that he is not a believer in Bo Nix. But you know what? I hope that's exactly how the Titans are approaching this game. Because if they do that, in my opinion, that means that they're going to play a lot of press. They're going to be very close to just try to take away that first read so that Bo Nix is just running right away. If you do that against Courtland Sutton, well, he's going to beat your cornerback and he's going to get 50-50 balls. If you do that against Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin, they're going to get easy separation and get down the field, and it's just going to turn into a 4-touchdown type of day for Bo. We heard from Sean. He was asked about these comments yesterday, and I don't know if Sean was really aware of the comments, so he answers the question, and then he circles back around to this in the second half. We might get a juicier answer tomorrow from Sean, but this was still a pretty good rebuttal from Sean.
You know, I would disagree that he's just a first read. I know for a fact that that's not the case. Now, is he confident in his movement skills? Yeah. And we'll get a chance to see him on Sunday.
Oh, man, you know, Sean is just licking his chops at these comments right now. So I don't know what Jeffery Simmons doing. You were a 3-14 team last year, coming on the road with a rookie quarterback. Interesting to be running your mouth.
But that's why I can appreciate the gamesmanship, you know, because again, you're big underdogs. You need to find a way to make something go your way. I can appreciate saying, well, this guy won't just sit in the pocket, especially from a team that really struggled against running quarterbacks last year. Throwing that out there, hoping Bo hears it and says, oh yeah, I don't stay in the pocket. Guess what? I'm going to stay in the pocket. And if that's you as the Titans, again, they gave up massive games to Anthony Richardson and maybe Daniel Jones. There are a couple of those guys.
They gave up 95 rushing yards to Drake May and 70 rushing yards to Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
They gave up 435 rushing yards to quarterbacks last year on the ground. Bo Nix had 430 last year.
Yeah, so it's like
Go ahead.
But yeah, so the idea that you would say, we think that he's just going to run and hopefully get him to say, oh yeah, I'm going to try to carve you up. That I can appreciate the strategy there.
It's total bait. It's total bait.
Totally.
It's like if you're playing against a guy in basketball and you just like back off and you're like, this guy doesn't shoot the three.
Exactly. What does he do?
You're trying to get him to do what you want him to do, to
Exactly.
shoot the three. Or you're playing a guy in match play in golf and you're like, oh, this guy lays up on every par five. Like,
Totally.
predictable. Here it comes. He's gonna lay up, and the guy's like, you know what? I'll hit 3 wood, and then he puts one in the water. Like, so I think it was bait on Jeffery Simmons' part, but it was also wrong, and like a Sean Payton quarterback is just never going to be a one-read quarterback. Like,
No.
this offense is built on being able to go through progressions, and the reason why Sean Payton picked Bo Nix is because of his ability to process.
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to point to a closer one-read quarterback, that was Russell Wilson, and we saw Sean willing to take the most dead cap hit in NFL history in order to move on from him because he was closer to a one-read quarterback than Bo Nix is. And guys, speaking of taking little jabs, this one went under the radar yesterday, but we're gonna talk to our guy Jordan Palmer. And yes, I saw in the Twitter chat they said, "Do you mean James Palmer? We love James, but no, we're talking to Jordan Palmer about Bo Nix in just a second. Then we're gonna dive into the Titans even more, give our keys to victory, give our picks. Sean kind of pointed to a key to victory in this game. We got a 20-second clip from Sean talking about what one of his keys to victory here. Listen to it. I think it's informative. But then listen to the shots and the little jabs that Sean takes at this Titans team that he had yesterday. Let's listen to Sean.
The two things that stood out in their 3 wins last year, Tennessee's 3 wins last year, they were outstanding defensively on third down. It just stood out. 28%, 27%, 17%. In other words, in their 3 wins, they played real good third down defense.
Wait, how many wins did they have last year, Sean?
3.
3. I just love those little jabs there. He was giving him a compliment and then just absolutely destroying him as he was doing it. In 20 seconds, he made sure everyone knew they had 3 wins 3 times.
It's an interesting point, though, that's kind of what they have circled is like, how do we win this game? We win on third down. Like if we just keep the chains moving, we should be fine.
He's right.
Yeah.
And to me, that's kind of basic NFL football, but it is interesting. And
I mean, if you were to go through like a keys to victory every week and be really honest about it, you'd probably hit about 3 things every week.
Totally.
Yeah.
But the fact that he chose that one and not red zone success or turnovers or whatever it might be.
Run the ball.
Exactly. Rush attempts, those sorts of things. Like that's the one that he has circled as interesting. I think that's one of the challenges for the Broncos this year. It's just finding ways to stay on the field on third down. And it's made tougher by the fact you lose Devon Bailey. You're hoping that the combination of Pat Bryant and Evan Ingram makes up for that and even improves that. But yeah, I had noticed that one as well and thought it was interesting. That's what he'd circled.
yeah.
So you mentioned 3 wins 3 times. Talking about third downs.
Yeah.
Wow.
Magic number's 3.
3 is the key to victory. Will Lutz, you're going to be included in that. We're in number 3 as
and
well.
making 3 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's get to our guy, Jordan Palmer. Really quick, want to give a shout out to the toy. Well, we'll dive into this one first because it's our friends over at. Did we freeze? At Bet365, where if you want to get in on this weekend's action, which starts tonight, we got Eagles, Cowboys. What's your guys' picks? -8 for the Eagles over at Bet365.
A lot of points.
Yep, I would take the
I
over
think I
as
go
well.
Cowboys.
Cowboys with the points.
I'll take the Eagles.
Take the Eagles, and I'll take the
I mean,
over.
first, celebrating a Super Bowl changes it too.
That's true.
Vibes are different.
So you can get in on that over at Bet365. Of course, we got football tomorrow night. We got football all day Saturday. We got football and Broncos all day Sunday. Broncos also 8-point favorites. And if you want to get in right now, I mentioned at the top of the show, place a $5 bet, deposit $10, use the code DNVR365. When you do all of that, you're going to get $300 in bonus bets. They up the ante to start football season this week. $300 in bonus bets, which you can use on pretty much everything. It can be used on props. It can be used on spreads. It can be used on player. It can be used on futures and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary over at Bet365. Make sure to use that code DNVR365 when you sign up over at Bet365. Scan the QR code on the screen and get in on some bets. Must be 21 and older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you're somebody who has a gambling problem, let's help. Caller text 100 gambler. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah. Can you send me a fresh link for the guest link? Our guest seems to be having a problem with it.
Well, maybe we should have a Coors Light to celebrate. Well, not to celebrate, while we wait.
Yes,
because we need to choose chill in this moment. But Coors Lights, they're the best.
They really are.
Coors Light tonight, Coors Light tomorrow night. Montana plays their first game at 6 o'clock on Saturday, so I'll probably be starting at like 3 o'clock when the radio show starts, just taking those Coors Lights. It's nice. We have Saturdays is kind of the only off day at this point.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, and so Saturday is going to be the Coors Light day going forward. We love Coors Lights, and I mean, what else is there to say? Mountains turn blue. You guys know the stuff. You can make the most out of times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. Visit CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado beer.
And also want to give a shout out to everyone that's tuning in the Twitter chat popping off right now. Elliot Baker, welcome to the Supporters Club. Of course, if you want to become a member of the Supporters Club, you get badges that upgrade every couple weeks, then months, then years, and it just shows that you're supporting us. You also get cool exclusive emojis as well, so we appreciate Elliot and everyone that we've got, including Colorado native in Europe that's going with us right now. Last Chance WOR, we appreciate you, and then everyone that's tuning in. Saw a lot of grades, a lot of A's, a lot of A+s for the Nik Bonitto deal, grading the Broncos for that one. Love to see it a lot.
Also, shout out to Timmy going to the Grizz game on Saturday. I'm jealous.
Oh, how about that?
Have fun, Timmy. It's true.
Wow, more Montana than you. And yeah, I mean, as Coach Chris says, it's too funny that Amari Cooper retired today, especially with the massive day that the Broncos are having. Should we hear from DJ Jones on the key to winning this game? Let's hit this clip from DJ. He was talking earlier in the week, and he was asked, what's the hot start? What's the fast start rely on for this team, and how much is the defensive line involved? Here's what he said.
The defensive line dominates their offensive line. Simple.
That's what you put that right on your group's shoulders, then getting off to a faster start.
No, 1,000%.
And I agree. I mean, that's kind of the basis of football is winning in the trenches. And I love that DJ Jones, Captain DJ Jones,
right,
and the rest of the defensive line is taking this approach right now, is that this is on us right now to win, to get after the quarterback, to stop the run. Do you agree with him, Henry?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, just the fact that he's captain is so cool. For him to get that in his 9th year in the NFL, not one of like the big money guy, gets plenty of money, but not one of those guys as the run stuffer. The guy who goes in on 1st and 2nd down so his teammates can rush the passer on 3rd down. That guy being a captain is just the way football is supposed to be. But yeah, I mean, early in the season, Sean's talked a lot about beginning of the year, you just do what you're best at. You don't try to overdo it. You don't try to overcomplicate things. You can add more, but you show up and you just play clean football and you call what you think you can do cleanly. And what we saw from the Broncos last year is you get 5 guys across that defensive front. You know, with Alex Singleton in that penny formation, as the lone linebacker behind that front 5 and basically a nickel, that was where they unlocked the defense early last year by rushing 5, outside guys cover. Alex has the range to make any tackles, running backs that slip through. We weren't sure how much of that we'd see this year. We'd imagine there'd be some. With no Dre Greenlaw, all of a sudden you say, this should be what you are best at defensively, this formation. And so going back to the basics, what they did early last year, just rush 5, let him get back there, play simple coverages, let Alex clean up in the middle of the field. Like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel this week.
Yeah, no, you don't. We'll get to our keys in just a second. We got a special guest calling in. Ryan, why don't you bring him in?
Yeah, super excited to talk to our guy, Jordan Palmer here. Renowned quarterbacks coach, Jordan Palmer. We're talking about a guy who works with Josh Allen, Joe Burrow every offseason. And kind of a cool situation because Jordan and I happened to be having dinner a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the CU quarterback, Julian Lewis. And then, I was kind of just telling him about what we do and things of that nature and how I also cover the Broncos. And he's like, man, you're going to be talking about Julian Lewis and Bo Nix. You're going to be having a lot of fun talking about those guys for the next few years. So, Jordan, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I'm glad to be here. Can you guys hear me okay and everything? Sorry, I was jumping on a little late.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we hear you great. So, what is it about Bo Nix that has you so excited about his future in Denver?
Well, I mean, it's a hot start, so there's not that many rookies who play great and lead their team to the playoffs their first year. I don't care who the receivers are, head coach, what defense they inherited. It's just like it doesn't happen that often, and it's a hot start. But I go way back with Bo. I go back to high school with Bo. I was the offensive coordinator on his Elite 11 team when he went all the way to the championship game and barely lost to Spencer Rattler and lost the MVP to Spencer Rattler as a high school kid. And it was funny. It was in Dallas. It was at the Cowboys facility. And I had a longtime friend, Andy Dalton, I knew lived down the street. And I said, hey, I got this kid on my team. And actually, Jaden Daniels was the backup for that game. And I said, I got this awesome high school kid. You got to come spend, we're going to have a little playoff run on Saturday and come and bring your sons and all that stuff. And so it was cool. To even just have at the time the starting quarterback for the Bengals there, watching going, dude, I like this kid. This guy's really good, man. And then to watch him know what it was going into Auburn, which it's all well documented. He was an Auburn fan as a kid. His dad played there. The expectations and hype. He won a state championship in the state of Alabama. His dad's a high school football coach. It was just like a more regional version of Arch Manning, I think, because regionally it was the same amount of hype and expectations from the fan base that Arch has, I would say, nationally. But it was the same deal. When you're a high school or freshman in college, like you don't necessarily pay attention to the national media. You care about what you're hearing 24/7 all day, every day. And I just watched him with all that hype come in and struggle. And looking back on it, and I just spent 2 years training Jarrett Stidham at Auburn, insert Bo Nix. So I was very familiar with Auburn, with Gus Malzahn, the offense they were running, the players, and I knew what they were asking the quarterbacks to do there. And I just thought he was set up to fail. And at Auburn, he'd have mirrored routes with no check down, and it was like they're dropping 8. And then I'd watch the TV copy, and they're sitting there saying Bo Nix is holding on to the ball too long. And then that creates the narrative and the fans. And I just watched this kid, this young man with these unrealistic expectations, with a situation that was not set up for success, handle all of that really well. And never throw blame and never even vent to me or anybody else, his girlfriend, now wife. Like he just didn't do that. He was never a victim. He just approached every offseason the way that a lot of my NFL vets at that time were approaching the offseason, which is reset, rebuild, start from scratch, get better, find ways to improve. And so when it came time for him to go to Oregon, I was just not surprised by the success that he had there because he was not set up to fail. He was set up to succeed. And so for him to do that and then enter the league with all the starts that he had, which was the most at that time, so a lot of experience, the age, and just how centered he is in his faith, how grounded he is in his family, all the fake stuff in news and media, he doesn't see that as truth. It's all just noise. And so I just think all of those things, I haven't said a word about his physical traits yet, but all of those things I just think set young quarterbacks up for success. And if you want to talk physical traits, he's going to be right there with some of the most impressive people in the NFL.
Jordan, this is awesome insight. And some of the noise that we've heard this week came from the Titans locker room. Jeffery Simmons essentially said that Bo Nix is a one-read guy, and then he takes off and runs. Sean Payton disagreed with that. We disagree with that. You know him maybe better than anyone, especially from a quarterback perspective. Do you also find that not accurate?
No, I don't find that accurate. There's nobody playing on Sundays who can't get to number 2 in a progression. I mean, you're just the other guy's going to go in. So no, I don't think that's true at all. And I think quarterbacks get really good at what they have to do to survive. Right? They're survivalists. And until you get to the point where you can thrive, where you feel like every day is going to be a great day, every game you're going to go off. And so if you're a runner, and you've gotten away with that, and that's what you need to do to survive, you're going to run. But let's flip it to Peyton Manning at the end. Okay, playing for you guys. right? Well, he couldn't really move and he couldn't get a whole lot of juice on the ball. So what did he have to do to survive? He had to make sure pre-snap he got them in the perfect play versus that look, right? And so I just think whether you're at the front of your career or the end of your career, you got to do what it takes to survive. And for whatever your deficiencies are. And every rookie at least has this as a common denominator deficiency: experience. They haven't seen all these coverages and pressures and looks and things that are designed. They like this defensive coordinator, when you're playing a rookie who's a high pick, they might have drawn this thing up that they're going to use week 11 versus the rookie when they get him. So you haven't seen that on tape. They've been sitting on it. They've been saving it for you. And so every rookie deals with that. I've had a lot of clients that struggled. People forget Josh Allen had a hard first 2 years, statistically and just winning and playing well. Because it takes a sec. And again, that's why I say not that many rookies play really well their rookie year and lead their team to the playoffs. And I'm drinking the Kool-Aid because I'm a massive Jarrett Stidham fan. But Bo had to win the job too. Mm-hmm. They didn't name him the starter on draft night. He had to beat out a really good quarterback in Jarrett Stidham. I don't think Broncos fans understand how good Jarrett is. The only time he's played really well. And so Bo Nix's season, his rookie year, did not start at the draft, and it did not start week 1. He had to beat out a savvy veteran for 4 months to earn the starting job, which is just, all of these things are just great ways to start your career, to have to go through these things and develop. And so when you do that, and then you get a long off season and you approach the off season, like I said earlier, the way that he does, then I think you're set up for a major leap forward your sophomore year instead of some of the step backs that we've seen in the past.
When I look back at Bo as a rookie, I think the biggest area where I think he could take a step forward is against the blitz, because the numbers against the blitz last year weren't very good. I'm not sure why that was, but I think it was something out of like the 36 quarterbacks who had the most snaps. He was 32nd when blitzed. Is that what you look at as where the next step is, and how does a young quarterback go about getting better in that particular situation?
Well, I have an interesting take on this. I don't know that I've heard anybody talk about it like this before. It is easy to say Bo Nix is the 32nd, I'm going off your numbers, the 32nd guy in the NFL against the blitz. So he needs to improve. He needs to get better, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, when you're talking about pressure, there's the entire offense plays a role in this. The offensive line plays a role in this, but not just blocking. The offensive line plays a role in this from a communication perspective of how they can deal with different looks. The running backs and tight ends, when they're either involved in protection or they're involved in the route. They're not doing, there is none of the above option there, right? And then the receivers, they got to run the route, they got to catch the ball, but also, are they doing side adjusts? Are they adjusting versus pressure? And here's the thing that I think's unique about my answer is that's not all, that's on the offense, it's on everybody, but a rookie quarterback, put talent and ability and confidence and arm strength, put all that to the side. You're not going to have as much in your protection plan and as many answers with a new quarterback as you are with an old quarterback. So let's say that everybody on this panel agrees that Bo Nix last year is better than Joe Flacco last year. Okay? There's like a good comp, right? Like as a legend, Super Bowl MVP, all that stuff. But let's say like most people would go, oh yeah, I'll take Bo Nix over Joe Flacco. Okay, cool. But there's no way that Bo Nix is going to have an offense with Bo Nix playing quarterback is going to have as many protection answers as an offense with Joe Flacco, purely off of experience and understanding how to do those things. So typically, and I don't know what they did, but typically the center is going to make the identification for the protection, and the quarterback's going to ride with it when you have a young guy. Let's take one less thing off of his plate. Well, Bo Nix is the type of kid where if they did that his first year, I doubt they do that his second year. I bet Bo gets to weigh in on that. So it's not about being good or bad. It's about having more answers. And I've dealt with so many quarterbacks. Some of them are really smart. Some of them are not very smart. Okay. But I don't always think that you can score somebody's how smart they are off of their intelligence level. Part of that is also exposure. So here's an example. You could take a highly intelligent quarterback and you can have him run a Mickey Mouse high school offense in high school, and then one of these spread bubble screen heavy offenses in college and put up numbers and come to me for draft prep. And he could seem dumb. Is he dumb? or has he been exposed to good, highly, high intelligence level offense? So a lot of this is exposure. And I've had guys who have really struggled to learn that have been exposed to high levels of football that don't come across as dumb at all. They seem like they know what they're talking about. Well, because they've been exposed. And so that's where you get a good young quarterback and a great head coach like Sean Payton, a great offensive head coach like Sean Payton. And I go, his exposure level just went up by 18 games. And so I would expect a big jump. I bet that number goes from 32 to 9 or something. And it's not because Bo Nix watched a lot of tape this offseason and learned all the pressure. That's a part of it, but I think they're able to do more. They're able to have more answers. And I don't know. Save that. I bet he ends up around 9.
I love it. This is great insight, man. Before we let you go, I got one more for you. So Sean Payton this offseason said within 2 years, Bo Nix will be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I think everyone is pretty much in agreement about who the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL are, and you're someone who works closely with 2 of them. I'm curious what you think is the gap that Bo has to do to close to get closer to that top 4, top 5 group.
Well, I struggle with the ranking thing, especially this week. Everybody telling me how the season's going to go for everybody. I got some friends who are really smart. I mean, Dan Orlovsky's really smart. I just go, okay. So I don't know if he ends up top 5 because I don't know how you rank it. You know what I mean? My greatest quarterback of all time I measure it differently than everybody else. It ain't Tom Brady. And so, for how to get him in consideration for being one of the last quarterbacks you want to play against. This comes down to and Patrick Mahomes has proven this right now. This just comes down to how well you play in the biggest games of the year. Because Mahomes' stats the last couple of years are unimpressive. They're 19, he's 16th in this, he's 14th in this. Yeah, but you don't want to play him in January? And so that's I think where it comes down to. And then really on the in-game, aside from winning the big games, just like stats and all that stuff, Bo has an opportunity. There's a lot of guys that are mobile, quarterbacks that can run around and mobile. They can create time and space, and that's valuable. And then there's guys who can attack. And I think Bo is athletic. He's very underrated as an athlete. And he can attack. He can be the reason their offense did what they did that day because of the 3 or 4 big runs that he ripped off. And so I think that the emergence of that. And if you look at, I just did a piece of content on this on my social. If you look at all of the plays, let's say concepts, in the NFL. This is true. I think it's true in college too. I just know it's true in the NFL, statistically speaking. And you took all the plays. So let's say drive is a common concept that's in every playbook. Let's say 4 verticals, 4 guys going deep. That's in every playbook, including my 3rd and 4th grade Bills flag playbook. And so let's say you took every concept and you categorized them and you ranked them. What are the best ones league wide across the NFL? You get the 3 concepts that get ran the most would be the best ones, right? But if you add in one category and you add in a broken play, so a drop back pass that turns into the quarterback leaving the pocket, statistically speaking, that's the best play in the NFL. A busted play, one that didn't start off right. It's the highest touchdown to interception ratio, it's the highest yards per attempt, and it's the highest completion percentage. And that's league wide, so that's every quarterback. That's not specific to fast guys or good guys or anything like that. And so if you look at it and you go, that's the best play, and we get good at that. Our receivers get good at coming back to the window. Our O-linemen get good at blocking. And when they feel like Bo Nix leaves the pocket, they don't hold that extra second and get a big play called back for a 10-yard penalty. If you get good as an offense in that, then I think Bo has a chance, like we've seen Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, the other guys that are probably in that top 5 that you talk about, Joe Burrow, do that, then I think Bo has an opportunity to be that type of player. And so if you win the big games and you capitalize on those plays and continue to progress the way that he has, then yeah, I think the people that rank him and put up their top 5 at some point are going to start saying his name and subbing out some names they have been saying.
Love it, man. Thank you so much. This was amazing.
Incredible.
Before you go, where can people find you? I know we talked when we were having dinner about some really cool content that you have coming soon. So where can people check some of your stuff out?
Yeah, it's just Jordan Palmer, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And then I've got an online platform, Summit U. So young quarterbacks, parents of quarterbacks. It's an online program. I basically take everything that I'm doing with my college and NFL quarterbacks, and instead of being on the field and coaching them, I always have a mic on and we're always shooting. And I'm just taking the things that we're literally doing with the best players and making it accessible online. And then the last thing I would say is we just had 12 months of business on a nutrition company I launched, a nutrition company specifically designed for athletes going through puberty. Crazy. When we started the company, we looked around, there was not a single company that designed products for athletes with developing bodies. And so Thread Performance at threadperformance.com, we are 1 year into business and it is a rocket ship. And it's because there's a need. And so spend the majority of my time with quarterbacks and then also have been able to create a great solution for parents. They're trying to figure out what to feed their kids when they're 8, 9, 10, 14, 16, 18. We've got a couple of great products and some new products coming out in September as well.
Awesome, man. Again, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll do this again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Man, that was incredible. As the Twitter chat said, Jordan Palmer knows Bell.
Yeah.
He definitely knows Bell. Great takes there. And speaking of knowing Bell, gotta give a shout out
4 rings
to our friends over at The Bell, Taco Bell, where they know Bell as well. And you gotta get yourself some Taco Bell. And might I just recommend for your Saturday, when you're watching the Buffs, get Taco Bell for yourself and get the Buffs box, which they just launched for football season. Guys, $7 for a cheesy gordita crunch, a beefy 5-layer burrito, Doritos Locos tacos, cinnamon twist, and a large fountain drink. You get 5 of those things for $7, and plus you get a player collectible cup featuring a CU football player as well at participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. And Taco Bell, for every Buffs touchdown, is going to give $1,000 to the CU Athletics Scholarship Fund. So if you like to eat delicious food, you got to check out our friends over at Taco Bell. So I'm literally talking to everyone with this one. Go check out Taco Bell and pick up the $7 Buffs box today at the nearest Taco Bell location near you in Colorado. And if you're not in Colorado, still get yourself Taco Bell.
Part of growing up is learning how fabrics affect you in different weather.
Oh.
Like once you get to a certain age, you're like, I need the right clothes for this situation. And our friends over at Mack Weldon are masters of that. From the gym to the work to a night out or summer adventures, you want clothes that feel comfortable anywhere. And Mack Weldon has breathable clothes that keep you cool, comfortable, and stylish, perfect for summer and fall. Their new tech linen line combines the easy charm of classic linen with cool Max technology. You can explore shirts, shorts, hoodies, and more at MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order with code DNVR. Finally, make an investment in some of those fabrics that are going to be right for you in the right situation. Big shout out to our friends over at Mack Weldon, where you can get 25% off with code DNVR.
And shout out to the Twitter chat and everyone tuning in. We got to take some screenshots here because we have our guy Bad Moon saying literally eating Taco Bell right now because yesterday had me stressed. And Jose said Taco Bell had Taco Bell on Tuesday. It was so good. I am 100% serious. So let's get those screenshots sent off. And also, we've got some new people in the chat as well. Going to give you a shout out at the end of the show. So many people absolutely love the Jordan Palmer interview that we just had. Make sure you're hitting us with a thumbs up if you liked it to show us the free support right there. We appreciate everyone. Man, Taco Bell comments just keep flowing in. People love the T-Bell.
Anybody who says rankings are dumb, my king. That's he is now my favorite person. Ranking the quarterbacks doesn't really work that way. Love it.
He was giving such insightful answers that were so drawn out that I wanted to just let him cook on Bo Nix, but I so badly wanted to jump in and be like, wait, we need to know who your top quarterback is.
Yeah, because it ain't Tom Brady, baby.
We'll have to get it. We'll have to get that from him next time. But huge shout out to Jordan for joining us. He was so cool about coming on the show, and he's obviously a busy guy working with all sorts of quarterbacks all over the country. But as soon as he started talking about how much he loved Bo, I was like, I would love to have you on our show to talk about this. He's like, yeah, of course. So going on vacation, hit me up when I get back, and I'll come do it. And boom, there he was.
I loved it. Incredible insight. We still have our keys to the game to get to. So Henry, what's your key for the Broncos to beat the Titans?
Pass rush. You got to get to the quarterback, because if you give Cam Ward time, then all of a sudden the whole things need to slow down for the rookie quarterbacks. Well, you got to speed him up. Otherwise, things are slow. He can make big plays down the field. I think if you give up big plays, that's the path to losing this game. So to me, it's if you're making things hard for Cam Ward, if you're making him make quick decisions, you're forcing the Titans to call short passes, you win the game.
Ryan, what's your key?
Benny loves to say that Sean Payton and I are a lot alike.
Yes.
And I really appreciate when he says that.
So,
So I'm going to just keep leaning into that.
Uniform color?
Yes, exactly.
Let's go. I called it. Yep.
No, I'm going with third downs. This is something where if the Broncos stay on the field and they convert drives into points, they're going to win the football game. And I don't think that the Titans are going to be able to do that. So it's on the Broncos to not let the Titans get into a situation where it's like, oh, we're one big play away, which Cam Ward's absolutely capable of creating. We're one big play away from getting right back in this thing. You can't have a situation where you're up 10-0 in the fourth and all of a sudden a busted coverage happens and they turn it into, and make it 10-7 and now it's tense. You stay on the field, you convert third downs as an offense, you're going to put up enough points to put this out of reach and let the defense just go out there and do that. Let Nik Bonitto make his contract worth every penny on the first night that he plays with it signed. So to me, I'm with Sean on this one.
Yeah,
Could you imagine $100 million night?
That'd be incredible.
100 sacks.
I'm going to go with a guy that is going to be a $100 millionaire in not too long. Guys, let's just keep this simple. This game's on Bo Nix just being good. That's all he needs to be. I'm not worried about the defense one bit against Cam Ward and what this offense has. This defense is so good that I'm not worried about them at all against a rookie quarterback on the road making his first NFL start. And why I put it on Bo Nix and not the running game. This running game legitimately might start off slow. We've seen them struggle all throughout training camp, throughout the preseason. They're implementing the outside zone, which we know. Also, 2 new running backs coming into the system. J.K. Dobbins has barely played any with this new offensive line in a real game. So it's okay if they start off slow. They're not doing this with the running game to have an incredible start to the season. They're doing it to have a great playoff run. So this one's on Bo just being good. Bo does not have to light the world on fire. I'm not putting any pressure on him that he doesn't already have. He just needs to be good. If he goes out there, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, the Broncos are going to win this game. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, the Broncos are going to win this game. But I don't think that's what Bo's going to do. I think Bo's going to get an MVP start to this season. I think he's going to go out 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Tennessee Titans had one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and their strength is up front. So that means Bo's going to be able to take advantage of this secondary. Titans gave up 27 points per game. The Broncos are going to top that in this game. Let's get our picks. And I think you guys know where I'm going. But Ryan, I want to know your Broncos score.
I've been saying the score for, I don't know, at least 4 months. How long is the schedule now? 4 months, 3 months?
About, yep.
May, yeah.
Since this game dropped, I stuck with the same score. I'm not changing. Nothing has changed my mind. Broncos 27, Titans 0.
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
I'll go 27-6.
27-6. I like those scores. I think I have said since the minute the schedule came out, 61-20 in the first 2 weeks combined.
Yep.
So let's just have that. Let's go 30-10. Broncos top that 27 number that I said they will. And there'll be some touchdown from Cam Ward at the end of the game when it doesn't matter. And the Broncos, that for me, it's 30-10. You hear, and the Broncos are going to take care of business there. We'll get Benny's score prediction as well.
Did you also say more Broncos points than Titans yards in this game?
That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling so good.
We stand
about
by
this
that.
game.
We stand by that. Okay.
How are they going to score 10 points while only getting 30 yards?
Good punt return or something. So we all think the Broncos are going to take care of business.
What's your combined score for the whole season?
I'm 2 weeks at a time, okay, Ryan?
First 3 weeks?
2 weeks at a time. I'm not worried about this game, and you absolutely should not be worried about this game. And that does speak to, if we're talking on Monday morning about a loss, that there's big things to be concerned about, but none of us are concerned about this game. The Broncos are right now 8 to 8.5 point favorites. The line keeps moving a little bit. That just shows you how confident Vegas is in the Broncos pulling this one off. Let's get to the other 2 games in the AFC West.
Do we have a Benny pick?
We don't. We're gonna get his pick.
Really quick, someone in the comments said that Henry and RK's graphic look like the same person. I don't really mind that, but I do mind that somehow Henry's more tan than I. Like something that's never happened.
That is interesting.
It's never happened in the history of life. We got to fix that.
He is more tan than you.
Yeah, can you help me with that? Thanks.
Just put a filter on it.
All right, guys. We got football tonight. We got football in the AFC West tomorrow. Chiefs playing the Chargers, taking away a home game from the Chargers because they're playing in Brazil. Who you got in this one? You're taking the Chargers?
No, I'm saying good job.
Oh, yeah.
Lose a home game to go to Brazil.
Henry? Chargers, Chiefs.
I'll go Chargers.
Okay, you going Chargers?
Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs as well.
Yeah, I might regret this one.
And we'll get Benny's prediction as well. And then we have the game that no one cares about. The Raiders playing the Patriots. Ryan?
Pats.
I still haven't settled in on my Patriots feelings. I don't know if I think they're good or not. Same with Raiders. Give me the Raiders.
Yeah.
Give me the Raiders.
Okay, and give me the Patriots for this one. Plus, we've all got the Broncos winning this game. Good vibes going into the weekend. We're going to be doing a pregame show, a watch-along, a post-game show, and, of course, that
New
tailgate
watch-along
show.
set.
So make sure to join us this Sunday for the game. Kicks off at 2:05. Join about, 30, 45 minutes before on YouTube for the tailgate show. It's been an awesome week, awesome show. Congratulations to Nik Bonitto. Shout out to Jordan Palmer. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to everyone tuning in. We appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend of football, and we will see you on Sunday for the Broncos. Let's freaking Bo.
We all silly like the mayor.